Is Covered California a success story? Yeah, I believe it is. Hi, I'm Kevin Knaus with InsureMeKevin.com, and I have been following Covered California since before it was even born. And as an agent, I have worked with Covered California, since it opened in 2014, and followed the ups and downs. And when I look at the landscape of California bureaucracies and agencies, and some of them have had so many problems: the EDD, BOE, DMV, scandals at lottery and CAL FIRE. Covered California really stands out as being a well-run, ethical organization that is meeting its mission, and in addition to which, they are not sucking any taxpayer money. I'll get into that in a minute. So Covered California was birthed by the California Health Benefits Exchange, which was put into place in California after the Affordable Care Act was passed. And the Health Benefits Exchange is made up of politically appointed board members. And then they went out and they hired an executive director to help organize this marketplace exchange for the Affordable Care Act. Now, every state could do this, or they could rely on healthcare.gov. California decided to create their own exchange within the rules of the Affordable Care Act. And since 2016, when the federal grant money for establishing the exchanges at the state level, ran out, finally ended, Covered California has been entirely self-sufficient on fees that it generates for its own revenue. So there's no taxpayer money involved. Now, the Health Benefits Exchange is under the umbrella of the Department of Managed Healthcare, which also oversees the Department of Healthcare Services that runs Medi-Cal, which is, that's kind of where it should be, because Covered California has to interact with all of those different agencies. But when I look at the budget documents that Covered California puts out, and especially this one for this fiscal year 2021-22, and I see that they have a net operating loss of only $3.7 million, and I also know that they have a reserve fund of over $300 million, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job of balancing their revenue with their expenses. And I do not believe the revenue or these user fees are exorbitant. If they were, the health plans would not participate. So the main funding source for Covered California, which is the online application, that software, all those people you talk to on the phone, or I talk to, the consumer service staff, that is all from assessment fees. The biggest one is the assessment fee of 3.25% on the health plans in the individual and family market. That generates about $373 million, at least in this next coming year. Now, that assessment fee, it originally started out as what they call a per member per month fee, and they dropped that a couple years into it, and they went to a percentage. I want to say it was 4.5%, and then they dropped down to 3.5, and now it's at 3.25. So what that means is for every $100 of health insurance premium, the health plan pays $3.25 to Covered California. So if you enroll in a health plan that costs $1,000 a month, the health plan pays Covered California $32.50. That's more than I make in a commission, but that's another story. So it is the user fees on the individual and family side that really are the bulk of the revenue for Covered California. And of course, their main operation is individual and family. They also have a Covered California for small business division. And I don't know if they have gone to a user percentage or if they're still using per member, per month fees. That's generates $22 million. Other income, $4.5 million. That may be interest on their investments for their reserve fund. And you can see total revenues there, almost $400 million, and operating expenses of $403 million. And so it leaves a little net operating loss. But considering what we have been through with the pandemic, Covered California pumped up their staff to try and help more people. Staff had to work off-site. Covered California put in about $30 million in advertising and marketing to alert people as they were losing their health insurance, their group health insurance, that Covered California was there for them to get out the word. Because we couldn't really rely on the health plans. You know, they're nice people, but they weren't going to take on that task to alert people that they were the health insurance was available to individuals and families. So this past 18 months has been very difficult for everyone. So a $3.7 million loss, that's nothing. That, will probably change. But where does all of that money go from Covered California that they collect in those user fees? A big chunk of it, 12%, goes to technology. And I believe the initial Covered California, they call it CalHERS, California Health Insurance Eligibility Enrollment and Retention System. That was about $230 million. And that's one of the things that cuts in Covered California's favor when compared to other state agencies, is they're relatively young. They were able to develop a computer software and database in the 21st century. Some of these agencies are working with legacy systems that go back to the 1960s and 1970s, and it's very expensive and they really struggle with that. Covered California had the luxury of developing something new in terms of, up to date and being agile. And man, the software has completely changed from 2014 to 2021. For the most part, for the better. So maybe a little bit more confusing sometimes, but all of the GUI, the user interface has been improved. There's been some back-end stuff that has been improved on, and so they're constantly doing that. And because again, that is the foundation of Covered California. 34% going to customer service. Yeah. Those are the people that answer the phones. And we need those people. And they answer my calls. There's kind of a separate division for agents. And sometimes it's a long wait time, but by and large, I get through fairly quickly. And most of the time they get my issues resolved. So, and hopefully they're really working for other consumers. Marketing and outreach, 32%. They're a commercial venture. They live and die by health insurance sales. I mean, essentially that's what Covered California is doing. They're selling health insurance. They're enrolling people. So they need to get the word out. Because we just generally will kind of forget about government agencies oftentimes. So Covered California needs to keep getting the word out. I'm not sure if I'm all in with some of their marketing techniques, but that's okay. They're spending a good portion to alert people that they are there. That's important. Administration, 14%. Well, they have a staff of almost 1,500 people. And some of those are managers and there's administration. They are a government entity. And so they have to follow certain government procedures. For instance, I have on several occasions filed a Public Records Act request. And so they have to have staff, because this is a state law that to the best of their ability, they need to fulfill my request for the public documents that have been generated for me to look over. Now that takes a lot of time. And many of those people that I'm dealing with are attorneys. So there's a lot of back-end stuff that many companies don't have to shoulder the cost of, but Covered California does. So that admin percentage really probably isn't too much out of the ballpark. 8% going to health plan eligibility, transformation, I don't know. Those are the people that develop the health plans, and then they work with the carriers and make sure that they're all actuarially equivalent, and they're doing some other metrics and trying to improve on health as best they can. So in general, though, they have a good, tight organization that is developing a product to meet their goals. And Covered California, really, when you get down to it, only has a couple reasons for existing. First, they need to determine the eligibility of anyone who is applying for health insurance within the guidelines of the Affordable Care Act. You know, the citizenship, the taxpayer status, making sure they're going to be married, filing joint, and all of those goofy questions. Then, once someone is eligible, they determine what the subsidy will be, and then they forward a monthly advance premium tax credit subsidy to the carrier. That's really all, that's the main job of Covered California. Yeah, okay, they're developing the plans within the regulations, but there's a couple other agencies that could do that. So what they are doing, they are meeting their mission statement. They are meeting the baseline for a marketplace exchange in the state of California. And they're doing it without $1 of taxpayer money. They're serving the people of California, providing an excellent benefit, people getting health insurance, and the uninsured has shrunk in California. And, you know, some people were upset at Covered California for a variety of reasons, but they have persisted and things have gone forward. And so we have a lower uninsured rate. We have people that are paying less for their individual and family insurance than before, and some people didn't even have insurance. And, you know, part of that is all Covered California. And they are, you know, managing it well. So when I look at the big landscape of all the Covered California bureaucracies and departments and those black holes of money going in to fix and develop software that never ever seems to work, Covered California really stands head and shoulders above the others. So yeah, Covered California is a success story, and I think as Californians, we can be proud of it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kevin Canals with InsureMeKevin.com. You have a wonderful day.